Chapter 001 Saint Master System, you can become stronger by accepting disciples. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The jungles in Mount Xianyuan are densely covered with dangerous beasts, and dangers abound. Both humans and demons regard Mount Xianyuan as a dangerous place. In the Temple of Heaven, a young man with sharp eyebrows and starry eyes was sitting slumped on the main seat with a sad face. System, is there really no room for negotiation on moving? Just like this useless place, even if it takes another 10 or 100 years, I'm afraid I won't be able to accept a disciple, right? Chen Daoxian rubbed his temples and questioned the system with a headache. He was not born in this world. After traveling to this world, he also obtained the golden finger, system. Hongmeng Destiny Saint Master System, as long as he accepts disciples, he can become stronger, but the palace of heaven given to him by the system is located in the wilderness. Normally, he can't even see a beast, let alone a human. In this hall, he is invincible, almost omnipotent, and he will never die of hunger. The range of this invincibility effect is currently 5,000 meters around the main hall. If that doesn't work, you can just send me a disciple. Seeing that the system had not responded for a long time, Chen Daoxian could only grit his teeth helplessly. Although within the scope of this hall, he is an almost omnipotent supreme being. Once he steps out of the scope, he is just a mortal. He has been in this world for more than 3 months, but he has not seen any living beings, not even a single beast. Now he can only see an initial task on the system panel. Initial mission, recruit a disciple. Accept a disciple with holy level qualifications or above, and you will receive an initial gift package. Forget it, you won't starve to death or grow old here anyway. Just wait. Realm, body refining, Qi Condensation, Qi controlling the sky, Tongxuan, returning to the ruins, Nirvana, infinite, distraction, void refining, combination. Are you really not afraid of the revenge of my Ling family? A woman with a hot figure and beautiful appearance was frowning, and she was constantly avoiding the pursuit of 3 Tongxuan realm monks in the mountains and forests. With her strength in the sky control realm, it is not easy to escape from the Tongxuan realm. She originally thought that hiding in this false mountain, the 3 of them would retreat in spite of the difficulties, but unexpectedly, the 3 of them had no intention of retreating. Even her Ling Yanran, whose talent was at the holy level and was said to be the most talented genius in the Moro kingdom for thousands of years, was still being hunted down by 3 people from the Tongxuan realm. The daughter of the Ling family is worthy of being a saint. She has been able to survive in the hands of the 3 of me for so long. It's a pity that you are still too young after all. If I give you 5 years, the 3 of us may not be able to defeat you. It's not even certain that he might fall into your hands. One of the killers, an old man who looked like a man, said jokingly while stroking his beard with a smile. He, such a genius would die in the hands of me, Liao Lao San, today. I can't help but tremble with excitement just thinking about it. A middle-aged fat man looked even more excited. He kept making spells and spells in his hands, trying to prevent Ling Yanran from escaping. Second brother, please let me enjoy my life later. It's not too late to kill him. Wouldn't it be a pity to kill such a beauty directly? The last person even licked his lips, his eyes filled with heat when he looked at Ling Yanran. You must know that Ling Yanran is not only the #1 genius in the Moro kingdom, but also her appearance is unmatched and can be called the #1 beauty. She was sought after by countless monks and geniuses, but no one could catch her eye. As for Ling Yanran's threat to the 3 of them, the 3 of them didn't take it seriously at all. If they weren't completely sure, how could the 3 of them dare to attack the genius of the Ling family? Damn it, it's been so long, why haven't the family sent help yet? When Ling Yanran heard what the 3 said, she was even more ashamed and angry. At the same time, she was a little worried. The 3 dared to pursue her like this. The Ling family had not sent reinforcements for so long, so they must have encountered trouble. At this moment, he no longer argued with the 3 people about his speed, and fled deeper into the mountain of illusion with all his strength. This false mountain is a very dangerous place. Not to mention the Tongxuan realm who is chasing her. Even the strong ones from the infinite realm dare not set foot in its depths easily. Now she can only give it a try. After a long time, Leng Yanran took the last remaining qi-replenishing pill and couldn't help but reveal a bitter look on her face. Unexpectedly, she, the most talented person in the Moro kingdom, with holy qualifications, would die here today. When she thought about the dirty words spoken by the three people just now, Leng Yanran had already made up her mind. After the spiritual energy is exhausted this time, if there is no possibility of escape, then you can only commit suicide. Hee, why don't you run away? Let us, Liao Lao San, have a good time, and then I'll let you go. How about that? That when the pursuer saw Leng Yanran stop, he couldn't help but lick his lips and said with a lewd smile, but Leng Yanran stopped talking at this time and just looked at the three of them coldly, her silver teeth clenching. After confirming that there was no possibility of escape, Danjiu raised his white palm, gathered his spiritual energy, and planned to crush his heart with one palm. There was no hesitation in his movements. The three people chasing him could not help but secretly marvel at Leng Yanran's determination. Only the third child sighed regretfully. Fortunately, this mission has been completed. When I get back and get the reward, I will be able to find a place to have a good time. Sudden. Everyone could not help but widen their eyes. The expected scene of Leng Yanran's death did not appear. Instead, a young man dressed in strange clothes appeared in front of Leng Yanran and held her jade hand. Well, boy, what's your background? That the leading old man couldn't help but frown and question. Just now, he didn't see how the young man appeared at all, but looking at his aura, he looked like a mortal. I am Leng Yanran from the Moro Kingdom. As long as the young master is willing to help, my Leng family will definitely give you a big gift. Leng Yanran's eyes also lit up, as if she had grasped a life-saving straw again, when she couldn't help but ask for help from the young man who suddenly appeared, but the young man didn't seem to hear what everyone said. Seeing that Leng Yanran no longer wanted to die, he let go of her little hand, then he just looked around Leng Yanran. While looking at it, he nodded excitedly in praise. TSK, after waiting for so long, the wait is finally here. I can't say anything today to make you run away. Besides, this looks a bit like a succubus. That the person who came was naturally Qin Daoxian. Just when he was going to sleep and mess around, he received a reminder from the system that there was a saint-level genius within the area who met the requirements for accepting a disciple. Photo, Leng Yanran. Chapter 003, Reward Obtained, Innate Charm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing the sound of system tasks being completed and rewards being distributed, Qin Daoxian couldn't help but feel a little excited. The initial gift pack X1 and the apprentice gift pack X1 have been placed in the system space. The system unlocks some new permissions. Qin Daoxian did not hesitate, and immediately said silently in his heart, open the gift bag. Ding, open the initial gift package. Rewards obtained, Hongmeng Ruler, the Treasure of Merit, Innate Spiritual Root Enlightenment Tea Tree, 1000 System Points. Ding, open the Apprenticeship Gift Bag. Rewards obtained, a bottle of Marrow Cleansing Pill, Mythical Level, Chaos Demon Art, Hongmeng, and 1000 System Points. The reward has been included in the system space. As a series of system prompts sounded, Qin Daoxian felt a little drifting off. Just looking at those suffixes, they are all divine beings, as well as the legendary treasure of merit and virtue, and the tea tree with innate spiritual roots and enlightenment. I am afraid that these existences alone are enough to become the strongest existence in this world. Already? With a backhand move, the Hongmeng Ruler, the most precious treasure of merit and virtue, appeared in his hand. The body of the ruler was dark and yellow in color, with the word Hongmeng engraved on it. Qin Daoxian took it in his hand and waved it casually twice, and suddenly 2 rays of dark and yellow energy roared out. Boom! That a huge mountain dozens of miles away was directly destroyed by the black and yellow energy. It's too scary. What kind of realm is master? Just by doing something casually, you can make a mountain collapse dozens of miles away. This kind of method has never been seen before. I'm afraid even the great masters of the Nirvana realm can't do it, right? Leng Yanran, who was standing respectfully by the side, couldn't help but sweat appeared on her forehead when she saw this scene, but I was a little excited. I didn't expect that today would be a blessing in disguise, and I would be able to worship such a powerful master. In this case, it is time to thank those 3 killers. It's not bad, it's easy to use. Pity. After Qi nodded slightly, he shook his head and sighed, secretly thinking that it was such a treasure, but it was a pity that it would be difficult to use it outside the scope of the temple. With those 2 casual swipes just now, Qi could detect that the power of the Xianhuang Qi was instantly weakened by more than 1,000,000,000 times after crossing the boundary of the temple, and as the distance got further, the power also decayed rapidly. If not, how could it happen? Only smashed a mountain. It seems that even if he is within the invincible range of this side and can launch long-range attacks to the outside world, his attacks will be greatly reduced. If not, Qi plans to never leave the temple area in the future. If there is an enemy, the worst he can do is kill him with a foot in the air. But when these words fell into the ears of Yanran, she was even more shocked. With such terrifying power, is master still not satisfied? That ruler was of a grade she had never seen before. It would be an exaggeration to say it was an immortal weapon. What kind of terrifying master did he become? Moreover, the master looks young. He must have used elixirs or special techniques to retain his youthful appearance. With such strength, even an old god who has lived for thousands of years would not be surprised. It seems that the chaos demon art is not for me to practice, right? This is the marrow cleansing pill. Try taking one. After Qi tested the Hongmeng ruler, he casually put it back into the system space and took out the bottle of mythical marrow cleansing pill that was rewarded by the system. What level of magic weapon is this jade bottle? After Yanran saw the jade bottle of the marrow cleansing pill, her eyes widened suddenly. Feeling the faint aura emanating from it, she thought the master was going to test another magic weapon that was like an immortal weapon. But as Qi opened the bottle cap, a strong fragrance of elixir poured out. Just one breath of it, Yanran felt that she had faint signs of a breakthrough. Such a magic weapon that is comparable to an immortal weapon is actually just a bottle containing elixirs. How must the elixir in it exist? In a short period of time, Yanran didn't know how many times she had been shocked. In his dull eyes, he saw Qi pouring an elixir from the bottle and throwing it into his mouth as if eating a jelly bean. Crack, bang. It's delicious, but it doesn't seem to have any effect. After taking the marrow cleansing pill, Qi waited for a moment and looked around himself, but found that it had no effect. Just like eating a jelly bean, because of the role of the Temple of Heaven, he is invincible and almost omnipotent within the range, and his physique has already reached the level of the Hongmeng innate Tao body. How can the marrow cleansing pill be effective? Well, this elixir is given to you as a greeting gift. It should be of some help to you. Immediately, he threw it away casually and threw the jade bottle towards Yanran, who was a little dazed due to shock. Ah! This disciple is ashamed to accept such a treasure. Yanran was startled, and quickly caught the jade bottle in the air, held it carefully in her hands, and bowed to return it. It doesn't matter, it's just a bottle of marrow cleansing pill. Now that I've become my master, just take it. Qi chuckled lightly, and without waiting for Yanran to speak again, he took out another book of exercises that was completely black and exuded the aura of chaos. This chaos heavenly demon art is very suitable for you. You should practice this method from now on. As he spoke, he threw it to Yanran, who was holding the jade bottle of marrow cleansing elixir in both hands. Just like throwing garbage, Yanran hurriedly accepted the technique, intending to refuse. After all, she had just become a disciple and received so many favors. She really felt that she deserved it, but the moment she touched the technique, Yanran was stunned. She can no longer take her eyes away from the technique, as if this technique was tailor-made for her. If she misses this opportunity, it will be a regret that she can never make up for in her life. Disciple thanks master. Yanran hesitated for a while, then took over the technique. After thanking him, she couldn't help but cross her legs and read it up. Seeing this, Qi didn't pay attention, but checked Yanran's information in the system. First disciple, Yanran. Race, demon race. Special physique, congenital charm. Kung Fu practiced, Moro sacred scripture, lower grade on earth level. Talent, holy level. Realm, 4th level of the sky control realm. Chen Dao, ahem, of course, when accepting a disciple, the most important thing is to look at talent, body appearance, etc. It doesn't matter at all, it's still very important. Just when Chen Daoxian lowered his head and stared at him, Lang Yanran also took a long breath and raised his head. The two looked at each other, and the atmosphere was a little strange for a moment. Master, you. Chapter 004 Successive Breakthroughs, Tongxuan Realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Feeling the master's focused gaze, Lang Yanran quickly turned away shyly, not daring to continue to look at the master. A touch of bright red went all the way up her white neck to her cheeks, making her look even more delicate and charming. Since she was a child, she has discovered that all people of the opposite sex, regardless of race, have an inexplicable urge towards her. I didn't expect that master would be affected like this today. Could it be? Could it be that master is like those people, and because he was attracted by her special attraction, he deliberately accepted her as his disciple so that he could stay by his side? Otherwise, why would he have just accepted her as his disciple and given her the elixir she had never seen before, as well as this technique that shocked her after just a few glances? Thinking of this, Lang Yanran couldn't help but feel a little entangled. Even if the master had such thoughts in his mind, it was true that he had saved her just now. Should she refuse? Or choose to submit? The more she thought about it, the redder Lang Yanran's face became. Just when Lang Yanran was thinking a lot, Chen Daoxian spoke. Ahem, don't get me wrong. I'm just a little surprised by your physique. Seeing Lang Yanran's posture, Chen Daoxian couldn't help but be slightly stunned, but he came to his senses in an instant, coughed twice to relieve the embarrassment, and explained. Ah. Disciple's physique. Lang Yanran was a little confused, but after hearing the master's words, for some reason, she felt strangely a little disappointed in her heart. This is the first time that someone of the opposite sex can completely ignore her charm. Even the so-called geniuses and even the disciples from the Holy Land will be affected when they see her. Yes, you are born with an innate charm, but you have an extremely rare physique. Even if you don't practice the way of charm, you will still be accompanied by charm, and as your realm improves in the future, the effect will become more and more obvious. However, with such a physique, if there is not a strong enough backer behind him, he will almost eventually become the crucible of a powerful person. After Chen Daoxian pondered for a moment, he slowly revealed the special characteristics of his physique. Naturally, this information could also be checked through the system, and what he said was a bit euphemistic. In fact, even if you have a powerful family, after cultivating the innate charm to a certain extent, it is very likely that the ancestors in the family will not be able to bear the temptation of the charm. Unless you have someone extremely trustworthy, like your parents, can you hope to reach the highest level of cultivation. That's what it is. Thank you, Master, for clarifying my doubts. When Lang Yanran heard this, she secretly smacked her tongue and finally understood the doubts she had had since childhood. Because of this charming existence, she often gets into trouble. Fortunately, she is not stupid. She can always divert trouble among many talented people, making them compete with each other and escape. I wonder if Master has a way to suppress this innate charm. Lest the disciples bring a lot of trouble to the Master in the future. Lang Yanran bit her red lips and asked softly. Ahem, it doesn't matter. This chaos heavenly demon art contains the way of the succubus. Those who have this charming body will practice faster. Just practice with peace of mind. As for trouble, there is no trouble in this world that my teacher cannot solve. Chen Daoxian said with a chuckle, and in the end he raised his head and looked into the distance very confidently. The tyranny in his words made Lang Yanran lose consciousness. Of course, Chen Daoxian also added in his mind, the premise is that it must be within the invincible range of this temple. Master. In this case, can my disciple start practicing this chaos demon art now? After coming back to her senses, Lang Yanran's eyes gradually cleared up, and when she thought that the Lang family might have encountered trouble at this time, she couldn't help but become anxious. Although he could ask his master for help, Lang Yanran felt that his master had already given him so many favors, and if he asked for it again, it would be a bit disrespectful. Of course you can. The technique has been given to you. You can practice it at any time. By the way, eating that marrow cleansing pill and then practicing it should be of great benefit to you. Chen Daoxian nodded slightly and said, "Yes, master." After receiving her master's permission, Lang Yanran immediately stopped hesitating and gently opened the stopper of the jade bottle. Fearing that the fragrance of the medicine inside would escape, she poured out a pill and quickly covered it again, then he carefully put the jade bottle into his arms as if it were a treasure. He glanced at the master again and saw that the master had no other instructions. Then he opened his red lips slightly and swallowed the marrow cleansing pill into his mouth. As soon as the marrow cleansing pill was taken into the mouth, it turned into juice and flowed into her belly. Lang Yanran didn't have time to think about how the master had chewed this thing like a jelly bean, and she felt the spiritual energy in the sea of air. It started to expand rapidly, like an overturned river. Not daring to delay at all, Lang Yanran quickly began to practice the Chaos Demon art in her hand with her eyes closed. She had just written down the first chapter of the Chaos Demon art, and with her master by her side, she believed that nothing would go wrong. As her cultivation continued to progress, Lang Yanran's skin pores began to discharge a lot of dirty impurities. In less than a stick of incense, the realm directly broke through and reached the 5th level of the sky control realm. As time goes by, more and more impurities are discharged from his body, and his realms are continuously broken through without any bottleneck. Buzz, the 6th level of the sky control realm. The 7th level of the sky control realm. The 8th level of the sky control realm. The 9th level of the sky control realm. Break. As Lang Yanran gave a sweet shout, her whole aura began to undergo earth-shaking changes. The spiritual energy within the air sea began to slowly condense into a liquid state, and the liquid spiritual power continued to increase until the air sea was filled. The size of the air sea that should have been fixed in the air sea realm was all in the air. At this moment it began to expand continuously, and it stopped expanding when it was 100 times larger than before. After a while, Lang Yanran let out a long breath. The aura around him has suddenly jumped from the 4th level of Yukong realm to the 1st level of Tongxuan realm. Even the injuries that were originally caused by being chased were completely recovered during practice, and even the scars completely disappeared under the influence of the marrow cleansing pill. This can break through to the Tongxuan realm so easily. It's easier than breaking through the bottleneck of a small realm. Moreover, the sea of Qi that was already finalized has actually expanded more than 100 times. Also, the concentration of this spiritual power is far from what the Tongxuan realm should be. What kind of skill is the Chaos Heavenly Demon technique given to me by Master? For a moment, feeling the terrifying growth of her own power, Lang Yanran's face was filled with disbelief. In just a few hours, he has broken through several small realms, and even crossed the bottleneck of the big realm. If he spreads the news, no one will believe him, right? Suddenly, Lang Yanran screamed. Chapter 005 The Palace of Heavenly Tao appears and gets another reward. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Daoxian, who originally saw the end of Lang Yanran's breakthrough, was about to say a few words of relief. Hearing her scream, he was also startled. What's wrong? But what went wrong in the practice? Chen Daoxian ignored the dirt and impurities that emerged from his pores when he was practicing, and quickly put one hand on his shoulder and asked with concern. Within the scope of this temple, he was confident that he could settle anything. Even if Lang Yanran's cultivation went astray, he could settle it. No, master. Disciple, I suddenly found a layer of sticky filth on my body, and felt that I was rude in front of the master. Lang Yanran felt her master's sudden concern and couldn't help lowering her head and whispering, especially because the master didn't care at all about the layer of filth on her body. She couldn't help but feel moved, feeling the warmth of her master's palm, coupled with the treasures and exercises given by her master before. Lang Yanran made up her mind to repay her master well in the future. Hi, it turns out this is the case. I was shocked. These filth are the impurities discharged from the marrow cleansing pill you just took. Just go and wash up in the palace. Chen Daoxian smiled slightly, put his hands behind his back and said. In the palace, Lang Yanran was a little confused when she heard the master's words. There were wilderness mountains and forests all around. Where was the palace? I forgot about it as a teacher. When Chen Daoxian heard this, he turned his head and looked in the direction of the main hall, but there was nothing there. He couldn't help but slap his forehead. When he heard the system prompt, he came over as soon as possible, and also hid the main hall. He was afraid that the visitors would not dare to step forward and stop after seeing the main hall from a distance, and scare the genius away. But it was a loss of blood. Now that the apprentice has received it, there is no need to continue hiding it in the main hall. Pointing towards the open space, a large hall suddenly rose from the ground with a rumbling sound. This large hall seems to have existed in ancient times, and it is full of ancient atmosphere and textures. The plaque on it seems to contain the power of 3,000 avenues, gathered into two big characters, Heavenly Way. Lang Yanran just looked at the plaque, and her whole body suddenly stood still and fell into it. It's as if the soul has been sucked into it and is swimming in the ocean of 3,000 avenues, completely losing itself. Wake up! Seeing this, Chen Daoxian couldn't help but shook his head slightly, and then gave a light drink. Hearing the master's voice, Lang Yanran shuddered suddenly and woke up. He was already covered in sticky filth, but now he was even breaking out in a cold sweat. This disciple is incompetent. Thank you, master, for your help. Lang Yanran came back to her senses and bowed to her master in shame, but she was even more shocked in her heart. Just once she glanced at the plaque, she instantly lost her self-awareness, as if she had been pulled into the world of the great law. The main hall where the master lives alone is so terrifying. What kind of existence is the master supposed to be? The main hall here is directly named after the way of heaven. What kind of confidence does this have? You must know that everything in the world must follow the way of heaven. Even if you are a cultivator, you are just following heaven. The result of going against heaven is death. In the name of the way of heaven, wouldn't it mean that we would be punished by the way of heaven? Could it be that, master is already a being who has no fear of heaven? Lang Yanran didn't dare to think about it anymore, so she could only forcefully convince herself that it must be the special formation in the main hall that gave it such power. Otherwise, she really couldn't understand why such a terrifying existence would accept her as a disciple. It doesn't matter, keep this jade pendant, and you can look at the Tiandao plaque it will in the future. It contains the meaning of the Great Road. If you can understand it a little bit, it will be a great opportunity. Chen Dao, with this jade pendant, you can come and go freely in the temple without danger. Yes, thank you, master. Lang Yanran bowed and held up her hands to take the jade pendant. Chin Dao. That moment, another rope was formed casually, and instead of placing the jade pendant in his hand, he gently put it on his slender neck. There is no need for too much etiquette between you and me, master and disciple. I have brought the jade pendant to you as master. Go and choose a room you like in the main hall and wash yourself first. Chen Daoxian said softly, then turned and left. Thank you, master. Feeling master's slender fingers touch her neck inadvertently, Lang Yanran's ears suddenly felt a little hot. She thanked him with a stutter, and hurriedly turned around and entered the hall. Although she has been sought after by countless geniuses and even powerful seniors over the years, she has never had close contact with a man. After entering the main hall, Lang Yanran chose a side hall closest to the main hall and found that it had all kinds of facilities. There is even a wooden tub for bathing in the house, which is emitting mist. Obviously it is hot water that has just been put in. Master actually prepared all these for me. Lang Yanran bit her red lips lightly, blue waves flowing in her eyes. However, the sticky feeling on her body made her extremely uncomfortable, so she no longer delayed, took off her dress that was stained with blood, and started taking a bath. After several days of sleepless pursuit, Lang Yanran was already exhausted. Feeling the warmth all over her body, she couldn't help but fall asleep slowly. At this time, outside the main hall, Chen Daoxian was studying his own system. After accepting a disciple, the invincible range of his temple increased from the original 5,000 meters to the current 50,000 meters. Although it increased 10 times, it was of little use. In this false mountain, there are ferocious beasts everywhere, and it is rare to encounter a human figure. However, he is not discouraged. As long as he keeps going like this, sooner or later, his scope will be able to cover the heavens. Even before that day comes, maybe he no longer needs to rely on the invincible range of this temple. Because when Yanran broke through just now, he got a new system reward. Just now in front of Yanran, he didn't have time to look more. Ding, Yanran, the eldest disciple of the host, has comprehended the first chapter of the Chaos Heavenly Demon Art and has broken through the Tongxuan realm. Reward, 150 years of cultivation and 150 system points. The Chaos Heavenly Demon Art has fully comprehended the perfect state. Seeing this prompt, Chen Daoxian couldn't help but secretly get excited. Originally, he was a little worried about how to find a suitable technique for practice, but now it seems that this is not necessary at all. As long as the disciples practice, it is enough. As a master, he is only responsible for lying down. No, he is responsible for teaching his disciples well. Chapter 006, 100 Years of Qi Condensation, System, Are You Messing With Me? You are listening at novelfull.audio. After receiving the reward for his apprentice's breakthrough, Chen Daoxian found that he had completely understood the Chaos Demon Art in his mind. The magical powers contained in it are as proficient as if they have been used hundreds of millions of times, and can be used at will. In the future, as long as I accept a few more disciples and let them practice the systematic exercises, won't I, as the master, be able to fully understand every exercise? Chen Daoxian couldn't help but secretly get excited. You must know that the system's skills are all at the Hongmeng level. Even the immortal skills can only be regarded as rubbish on the street compared with them. Let me see what realm my 150 years of skill has allowed me to break through. I wonder if there is a Tongxuan realm. After experiencing the technique, Chen Daoxian opened the personal attribute panel with a thought. In his mind, his disciples are now at the Tongxuan realm, so at least he can't be at a lower level than his disciples, right? Even if they are both in the Tongxuan realm, Chen Daoxian has the confidence to surpass the realm by fully comprehending the Hongmeng level technique Chaos Heavenly Demon Art. No, he should be able to surpass countless great realms. But after seeing the personal panel, he was dumbfounded. He even closed and opened it several times, but the information was the same every time. Host, Chen Daoxian. Race, human race. Special physique, Hongmeng innate Taoist body. Kung Fu practiced, Chaos Heavenly Demon technique, perfection. Talent, Hongmeng. Realm, first level of Qi Condensation realm. 6. System, Are You Messing With Me? 150 years of cultivation, first level of Qi Condensation realm. Even if these 150 years of cultivation are used on a pig, not to mention the air control realm, at least it will have to be the air-sea realm, right? Looking at his cultivation at the first level of Qi Condensation realm, Chen Daoxuan's face turned dark, and he kept asking the system what was going on. His talent is at the Hongmeng level, so he should be able to train in a group with terrifying speed. 100 years of cultivation has given me a Qi Condensation realm. Realm, body training, Qi Condensation, Qi Si, control of the air, communication with the mysterious, return to the ruins, annihilation, immeasurable, distraction, void refining, integration. P.S. The protagonist's air control realm is equivalent to the realm of immortals in this world who have overcome tribulations and ascended. But I don't want to explain too much. The Hongmeng innate Tao body is the most powerful body in the world. It is more than 1 billion times more powerful than any special body. However, the requirements for cultivation are millions of times more than other bodies. But the host does not need to worry. The Qi Condensation realm of the Hongmeng innate Tao body is also very strong. After a long time, the system's beep sounded in his mind. After hearing the system's words, Chen Daoxian breathed a sigh of relief. I see. But, you are very strong, can you be more accurate? Can my Qi Condensation realm open up to the mysterious realm? Chen Daoxian doesn't care about the realm itself, what matters is strength. As long as the strength is strong enough, even if it is in the Qi Condensation realm, what's the problem? But the system did not respond to Tongxuan's words, as if it wanted him to experiment on his own. That's all, hey. I just hope that the disciples can gain some momentum and that I, the master, can break through the realm as soon as possible. When Tongxuan saw this, he could only shake his head helplessly, but fortunately, as long as the disciple broke through, he would be rewarded with the apprenticeship. This time I broke through the Tongxuan realm and gained 100 years of cultivation. What if I break through to a higher realm in the future? Wouldn't it be possible to gain thousands or 10,000 years of cultivation? Even if this physique is a bottomless pit, he can still fill it up. If one apprentice doesn't work, then there will be two. If two don't work, then there will be three. At worst, we will capture all the geniuses as apprentices. Well, men don't want it. Serious master, who accepts male disciples? After checking his cultivation level, Tongxuan checked the system points he had just obtained. System points, 2153,200 system points were given in the system gift package, 150 system points were awarded when Yanran broke through, and there were 3 system points. Tongxuan guessed that he had just killed 3 Tongxuan realms and got them. Soon he also understood the purpose of system points. In the system store, system points can be exchanged for various precious items and even daily items, and can also be directly exchanged for cultivation. 1 system point can be exchanged for 1 year of cultivation. You can imagine how precious system points are. After thinking for a moment, Tongxuan exchanged 153 of the system points for cultivation, leaving 2,000 system points, and with the growth of his cultivation for 153 years, Tongxuan couldn't help but twitch the corner of his mouth when he looked at his second-level Qi Condensation realm. I also understood that every time I advance to a small realm, I need 100 years of cultivation. That's all, I don't need to go out for the time being, and my cultivation level doesn't need to be too high. Let's keep the system in place for now. After shaking his head and sighing, Tongxuan took out another object. It is another reward in the gift package, the innate spiritual root enlightenment tea tree. After choosing a spot, he placed the enlightenment tea tree on it. The enlightenment tea tree immediately took root and exuded bursts of mysterious Taoist charm. Even if you just sit cross-legged under the tea tree and practice, you can often enter the state of enlightenment. Fortunately, it was planted within the scope of this temple. Otherwise, if it were placed in the outside world, I am afraid that such innate spiritual roots would not be able to grow. Even if one spiritual vein is drained, I am afraid that it will not be enough for the nutrients required by the innate spiritual roots. Just when Tongxuan was about to pick some enlightenment tea to try, Yanran slowly walked out of the hall. Perhaps the dirt was washed away, or perhaps it was the effect of the marrow cleansing pill that made Yanran, who was originally as beautiful as a fairy in a painting, even more attractive. In particular, the dress of the demons is also extremely unrestrained, with very little fabric. Although there is a skirt, 2 smooth and slender jade legs are exposed when walking, and the figure is even more exquisite, swaying slightly with the pace. The most unexpected thing is that after practicing the chaos heavenly demon art and stimulating the innate charm, a special lavender pattern appeared faintly on his smooth lower abdomen, which is very suitable for his identity as a succubus. Tongxuan turned his head and looked around, and couldn't help but lose consciousness for a moment. He thought to himself that he was indeed a congenital charlatan. He almost shouted, "You monster, help me practice," but with its all-round invincibility within the temple, it only took a moment for him to wake up. But Yanran froze on the spot after walking out of the hall, staring blankly in the direction of the master. In his eyes, it was as if everything had lost its color, and only that one man was left, with sword-shaped eyebrows and starry eyes, a light smile on his face, one hand on his back, and he seemed to be exuding the charm of the heavens. The breeze blew by, the tips of the hair moved slightly, and the tea trees behind him rustled in response to the scene, as if they were cheering for their master. To say that he is an immortal from heaven seems to be belittling him. The great avenues of the world seem to exist because of him. Good. Tongxuan chuckled and nodded, saying that it was good. He didn't know if he was praising his cultivation or his appearance. It's all thanks to master. Disciple is ashamed. Lang Yanran came back to her senses when she heard Master's voice, and quickly waved her hands, not daring to accept Master's praise. Well, this credit has little to do with being a teacher. Chen Daoxian smacked his lips slightly, but he didn't explain too much to him. Is there anything you don't understand about cultivation, or have any other doubts? Speak out and I can give you some answers as a teacher. Chen Daoxian, who didn't want to continue the discussion, simply changed the topic and asked about cultivation. Chapter 0071 SIP can lead to enlightenment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After hearing this, Lang Yanran also became more serious. There is no room for carelessness in matters of cultivation. Disciple has many doubts, and I hope Master can give me some guidance. Lang Yanran asked all the doubts she encountered when practicing the chaos demon art. On the other side, Chen Daoxian was listening and minding his own business while reaching out towards the Wudao tea tree. The Wudao tea tree reached out a branch with great spirituality. Chen Daoxian was a little surprised when he saw this. He didn't expect this enlightened tea tree to be so psychic. At that moment, he randomly picked some enlightenment tea, and then gently stroked the branches of the enlightenment tea tree. The enlightenment tea tree was quite happy, like a pet that had been stroked by its owner, and actually swayed a few times. Lang Yanran was still talking about her confusion, but she was startled by the Master's next move, and she couldn't help but pause for a moment in her words. With a wave of his hand, Chen Daoxian transformed a small pavilion out of thin air next to the Wudao tea tree. It was equipped with tables and chairs, and even a set of fine tea sets. After he sat down naturally, he waved to Lang Yanran, who was stunned, and motioned for him to come over. Only then did Lang Yanran realize what she was doing. She quickly stepped forward with her big, round white legs and got close to her Master, bending her waist to listen to his teachings. In my heart, I am even more unsure about the Master's strength. Is this method of creating things out of thin air really something that a mortal monk can do? Master, I'm afraid he has become an immortal. Don't be so formal. Sit down and talk while drinking tea. Chen Daoxian couldn't help but smile bitterly when he saw his disciple's posture. Shouldn't Master and disciple love each other? It will be so inconvenient in the future if you behave like this. How unbecoming it is. Yes, Master. Lang Yanran did not refuse, and immediately sat across from him respectfully, raising her head and chest, just like those children in the school, but I couldn't help but feel warm in my heart. I didn't expect that the Master, despite his unfathomable strength, could be so approachable. It's just, you will get used to it gradually in the future. Go on. Seeing his disciple being so cautious, Chen Daoxian felt a little helpless, but he also knew that this was not something that could be changed in a day or two, so he simply let nature take its course. When Lang Yanran continued to talk about her doubts about her cultivation, Chen Daoxian planned to make tea. Lang Yanran took the tea leaves very sensibly and moved her hands. He is naturally happy to have some leisure time. Why bother to do it himself when he can have disciples to serve him? As expected, being a master is very comfortable. The moment she got the enlightenment tea, Lang Yanran felt cool and miraculous all over her body. However, she saw too many strange things in her master's place, so she didn't think much about it. After all the questioning, the enlightenment tea has been brewed. Well, that's right. Just watch it carefully and I will demonstrate it to you. Chen Daoxian listened to his disciples' confusion about cultivation. Most of them were problems that caused the meridians to run unsmoothly. After thinking about it, he felt that it would be better to describe it orally rather than demonstrate it directly. If it were placed before, he would naturally not be able to teach it, but after Lang Yanran understood the first chapter of the Chaos Heavenly Demon Art, he had already received the perfect reward of the Chaos Heavenly Demon Art. All problems were child's play in his eyes. Hearing this, Lang Yanran was slightly startled. Having practiced the Chaos Demon technique, she naturally knows that this technique actually has many limitations, but it is as if it is tailor-made for her. At least, you must be a demon to practice this technique. If you have an innate charm, it will be the best. I didn't expect that Master knew this technique. By the way, with such an unfathomable existence as Master, nothing is impossible. Immediately, He cleared away the distracting thoughts in his mind and focused on watching the master operating the technique. It wasn't until Qin Daoxian completely executed the first chapter of Zhou Tian's heavenly demon technique that Leng Yanran felt as if she had been enlightened, and her previous confusion was solved. Although there are still some minor problems, they can be solved as long as you go back and try a few more times. Disciple thanks Master for teaching me the Dharma. Immediately, he stood up and bowed respectfully to the Master. Do you understand? Is there anything else you don't understand? Qin Daoxian waved his hand slightly to signal him to sit down and asked with concern whether his cultivation problem could be solved. After all, he still hopes that his disciples will break through the realm early and he can get more rewards. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the disciples' cultivation. After watching Master's demonstration just now, 8 out of 10 problems can be solved, and the remaining 20% can be solved as long as we study for a while. After hearing what the Master said, she quickly responded. That's it. It's easy. The tea is brewed. Pour yourself a cup. Qin Daoxian murmured, and then looked at the enlightenment tea that had been brewed on the table. He was busy demonstrating the movement of the technique, but he didn't have time to taste it. When I thought about the effect of enlightenment tea, my eyes suddenly lit up. My disciple was so absorbed in watching just now that he forgot to make tea for Master. Please ask Master to punish you. But when his words fell into Leng Yanran's ears, Leng Yanran was slightly stunned, and then immediately knelt down on one knee. My teacher doesn't blame you. It's a very simple literal meaning. You don't need to misinterpret it too much. Pour yourself a cup of tea too. The corner of Qin Daoxuan's mouth twitched. Isn't he kind enough? Why does this disciple look so afraid of himself? Yes, Master. It's all my fault for being so narrow-minded. Leng Yanran breathed a sigh of relief, stood up and respectfully made tea for her Master first, and then poured herself a cup of tea. Her character is not surprising. She has a charming personality and has been able to survive up to now. She has always acted cautiously, otherwise she would have been abducted by many powerful seniors. Well, not bad. I'll leave the tea making to you from now on. Qin Daoxian didn't pay attention to that. He just took a sip of tea and softly praised Leng Yanran's tea art. Making tea for Master is a blessing for a disciple. Leng Yanran smiled sweetly when she heard her Master praising her, and then under her Master's gaze, she picked up the teacup in front of her and took a sip as well, but as the tea entered her mouth and slid into her belly, her eyes widened suddenly. Then he quickly closed his eyes and adjusted his breathing, and actually entered the state of enlightenment directly. After touching a stick of incense, he slowly opened his eyes. This tea can actually make people enlightened. After Leng Yanran woke up, she opened her mouth slightly in surprise and looked at the teacup in front of her, feeling a little incredible. Who among the monks in the world doesn't want to have such a great opportunity to enter the state of enlightenment? Even though she is the most talented person in the Moro kingdom, she has never entered the realm of enlightenment. This is simply a priceless treasure. That's natural. This is the enlightenment tea, which can help people realize enlightenment. Have you solved the remaining 20% of doubts just now? Seeing the disciple's cute and shocked look, Qin Daoxian picked up the teacup again, took a sip, and asked with a chuckle. Chapter 008, Immortal level skills are only suitable for making fire for cooking. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Enlightenment tea. I didn't expect that there is such a tea tree with such incredible effects in the world. Hearing the Master's words, Leng Yanran couldn't help but secretly clicked her tongue and was shocked. Even things like enlightenment can be easily accomplished. What else is there that Master cannot do? Reporting to Master, when I first realized the truth, my disciple had already figured out all the doubts. It's just that this enlightenment tea is so precious, this disciple really deserves it. Regardless of being surprised, Leng Yanran hurriedly replied to her Master's words. That's good. As for this enlightenment tea, although it is precious, but since you have become my Master, why not use it? Qin Daoxian said with a chuckle, and then took a sip of the enlightenment tea. After drinking it, his brows furrowed slightly, and he couldn't help but wonder why he couldn't enter the state of enlightenment. This enlightenment tea not only tastes good, but has a rich and sweet aftertaste, but it does not have any other magical effects. But this scene in Leng Yanran's eyes made her a little more in awe of her master. Why does the master look so dissatisfied with such a precious enlightenment tea? Could it be that the enlightenment tea is not worthy of the teacher's taste? If such a divine object were released to the outside world, even the top powers in the infinite realm would be tempted to fight to the death to snatch it. Master, I still have a few questions that I would like to ask Master to clarify. Suddenly something seemed to occur to her. Leng Yanran shook her head slightly to shake off the thoughts in her mind, looked at the master again and asked, after receiving a slight nod of approval from her master, she continued. I dare to ask Master, what level of the Chaos Heavenly Demon technique is given to the disciple? Could it be the legendary Immortal level technique? She had this guess in her mind when she was practicing the Chaos Demon art. Nowadays, there are 4 levels of martial arts in the world: Heaven, Earth, Xian, and Huang. Each level is divided into upper, middle, lower, and top grades, but as far as she knows, even the highest level in the Holy Land of cultivation today is only around the middle level of Heaven level. As for the exercises she originally practiced, they were low-level exercises passed down from generation to generation by her Leng family. Even so, she became the #1 genius in the Moral Kingdom. But when she was practicing the Chaos Demon art, she could clearly feel that this art was probably not something that could be compared to the heavenly level. It is very likely that it is an immortal skill that only exists in legends. Immortal level? That's not true. When Chen Daoxian heard this, he was slightly stunned and then shook his head in denial. Leng Yanran sighed secretly when she saw this. It seemed that she had thought too much. How could there be immortal level skills in this world, and she had learned them? It must be a top-notch technique in the heavenly realm. This heavenly demon technique is a Hongmen level skill. Can the things used by immortal level skills to make fires and cook on a daily basis be comparable to the heavenly demon technique? Chen Daoxian continued to explain, minding his own business. Although he doesn't know how much stronger the Hongmen level skills are than the immortal level skills, they are definitely not of the same magnitude. Hongmen level. Immortal level skills are only suitable for making fire and cooking. For a moment, after hearing this, Leng Yanran's eyes widened, her lips slightly opened, and she felt as if her worldview had collapsed. If the immortal level skills are only suitable for making fires for cooking, then aren't the heaven level skills in major holy places only suitable for using the toilet? As for the earth level kung fu passed down from her ancestors, even wiping away dirty things is too irritating. Listen, what are you saying? Ming, disciple understands. Master is so kind and virtuous, and my disciple has nothing to repay. After Leng Yanran came to her senses, she immediately kowtowed to her master. Now, in Leng Yanran's heart, she has decided that no matter what the master asks of her, she can accept it, even if he takes her life. The skills that transcended the immortal level were much more valuable than her life. Get up, you don't have to kneel down every now and then. Being a teacher doesn't pay attention to these things. Chen Daoxian could only help him up again. When he lowered his head, he saw a sway and quickly looked away. By the way, Master, I saw the word Tiandao written on the main hall. Is it the name of the master? After getting up, Leng Yanran remembered something again and couldn't help but ask. This? Yes, this sect is Tiandao Pavilion. Chen Daoxian was a little confused for a while. He had never thought about what the sect he established should be called. After all, before accepting disciples, he was the only one. However, after hearing Leng Yanran's words, he simply accepted the name Tiandao Pavilion, which was quite impressive. Tiandao Pavilion is indeed the master's sect, and it is named after Tiandao. Leng Yanran took a deep breath and made up her mind to make the reputation of Tiandao Pavilion resound throughout the world and let master know that his investment was not in vain. After the two talked for a while, at the request of the master, Leng Yanran drank all the enlightenment tea in her cup and entered the realm of enlightenment again. This enlightenment lasted for a whole day. When she woke up, Leng Yanran's level had been upgraded to the second level of Tongxuan realm. And after Chen Daoxian inspected it, he found that its foundation was extremely stable and did not leave any hidden dangers. Chen Daoxian also received 100 years of cultivation and 100 exchange points. Thank you, Master. Leng Yanran slowly opened her eyes and looked at her master with respect. After joining the master's sect, it took less than 2 days for her to transform from the 4th level of Yukong realm to the 2nd level of Tongxuan realm. She even has a feeling that with the strength of the 2nd level of Tongxuan realm, she may not be able to kill enemies across levels, and it is the kind that crosses large realms. When she thought of this, Leng Yanran was a little hesitant as to whether she should speak to the master. If you want to say anything, just say it. Chen Daoxian noticed something strange and asked immediately, as for the 100 years of cultivation, the system has automatically absorbed it for him. Now that he has reached the 3rd level of Qi Condensation realm, he doesn't know whether to be happy or annoyed. Reporting to Master, my disciple was hunted down and has not returned home for a long time. Logically speaking, the family should send someone to investigate. But now there is no movement. I think I encountered some trouble at home. I want to go back. If the master is not happy, then the disciple will not come back. After finishing speaking, Leng Yanran carefully paid attention to the master's expression. As long as the master was slightly dissatisfied, she planned to accuse him. After all, even if it is a spiritual sect in the world, after joining, you usually need to reduce contact with your family in order to pursue the great path. And it's not necessarily the case that Master, an extraterrestrial god, needs his disciples to cut off their mortal bonds. That's it. Are you sure? But when Chen Daoxian heard this, he was not unhappy at all, he just expressed concern in a deep voice. Chapter 009 Definitely an Immortal, the dead can also be resurrected. You are listening at novelfull.audio. If it were before, the disciple had the strength to control the air, I'm afraid he wouldn't be able to help much when he goes back. But now that I have practiced the chaos demon art passed down by my master, my cultivation level has reached the 2nd level of Tongxuan realm. This disciple feels that he can even cross the ranks and fight against the masters of the returned ruins realm. Leng Yanran felt the concern in her master's words, her heart trembled, and she honestly expressed her thoughts. In their Moro kingdom, the highest combat power is the king, who has the strength of the Guishu realm. As for their Leng family, the strongest one is in the 9th level of Tongxuan realm. Even so, they are one of the 3 major families in the Moro kingdom. Leng Yanran had a vague guess that the trouble the Leng family encountered this time was probably caused by the other 2 major families. Do you know who did it to you and the Leng family? Chen Daoxian nodded slightly and asked again. Disciple doesn't know, but it's a pity that the 3 people who chased the disciple died in the hands of the master. Disciple made a mistake. I never meant to blame Master. After Leng Yanran answered, she suddenly realized that she had said the wrong thing and apologized again. It doesn't matter. But what you said is a good idea. In that case, let's ask the person who is chasing him. Chen Daoxian didn't pay attention to this. Instead, his eyes lit up as if he thought of something. Leng Yanran on the side couldn't help but be confused when she heard this. 2 of the pursuers were shot into a bloody mist, and the other had his neck crushed. How could you ask? Could it be that Master is also capable of summoning spirits? It's not surprising, the Master is like an immortal, and even if he knows some heresies, it's normal. But Chen Daoxian obviously did not intend to summon the soul. As he slowly waved his hand, the remaining body floated to the pavilion. Fortunately, it wasn't all shot into blood mist, otherwise it would have been a bit troublesome. Chen Daoxian chuckled, then made a pop sound and snapped his fingers. Immediately afterwards there was a sound of bones cracking. Under Leng Yanran's shocked gaze, the broken neck of the corpse was slowly repairing. Finally, the corpse took a sharp breath and opened its eyes. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. As soon as he opened his eyes, the man was struggling and howling while suspended in the air, and there was liquid flowing down between his trouser legs. Seeing this scene, Leng Yanran's pupils shrank suddenly. Resurrected, resurrected. This was completely beyond Leng Yanran's knowledge. It is definitely a method that only immortals can do. Looking at the way the man is struggling, he is not a zombie, but a completely normal consciousness. A person who had been dead for more than a day came back to life like this? Noisy. Qindao. I ask and you answer. If the answer is not satisfactory, you will die 1,000 times again. Do you understand? Qindaoxuan's expression was as usual and his voice was extremely calm, but when these words fell into the killer's ears, he felt as if he had fallen into an ice cave. It was as if this young man was the most terrifying monster in the world. There was a sudden burst of nodding, like a chicken pecking at rice. Good disciple, if you want to know anything, just ask. Chen Daoxian turned his head with satisfaction, stared at his disciple with a smile and said, the tone and look were completely different from when he faced the killer. The double standard made the killer on the side look stupid. Yes, thank you master. When Leng Yanran came back to her senses, she could no longer remember how many times her master had shocked her to the point of numbness in just one day. But it's important to ask for information at this time. Who sent you to hunt me down? Woo-woo. Oh, you can talk now. With Chen Daoxuan's words, the killer could answer. The head of the Wang family sent us here. Tell us everything you know, just to spare this little guy's life. Master Wang, Do you know what the situation of my Ling family is now, and why no one comes to reinforce me? Well, the villain only knows that the Wang family and the Li family have joined forces to deal with you. As for the current situation, the villain has already been ambushing on the road and has no way of knowing the news in the city. The villain really doesn't know other information. If he lies, he will be struck by lightning. Master, this disciple has finished asking questions. Leng Yanran glanced at the killer with a somewhat cold gaze, and then bowed to her master. Chen Daoxian nodded slightly and with a flick of his hand, the killer floated towards the Wudao tea tree. When they arrived in front of the enlightenment tea tree, before the killer could react, the tea tree suddenly drilled out a rhizome and pierced it, turning it into nutrients and absorbing it in an instant. All the Tao fruits of his body have been digested into his own body, but his realm is too low. And the effect of tea tree on enlightenment can be ignored. Chen Daoxian secretly sighed in his heart. It was a pity that after the killer was resurrected, he died again without giving him any redemption points in the reward system. Otherwise, he plans to resurrect this killer and kill him countless times, and directly earn him hundreds of millions of points, which can be exchanged for hundreds of millions of years of cultivation. Leng Yanran couldn't help but be a little surprised. She didn't expect that this precious enlightenment tea tree would have such a side. It's really terrifying that a strong person in the Tongxuan realm can be turned into nutrients like this. Master, the heads of those two major families are both at the 9th level of the Tongxuan realm, just like me, the head of the Ling family. If the two families join forces, it will be difficult for our Ling family to deal with them, but my disciple is confident that we can deal with them. Please also ask Master to allow me to go down the mountain. After hearing this, Chen Daoxian touched his chin and then had an idea. Since you insist on going down the mountain and suppressing your cultivation as a teacher, let's have a fight with you and test your strength. The system said that his strength is far beyond the ordinary realm. Today is a good time to test it and try out Leng Yanran's strength. Anyway, within the scope of this heavenly Tao palace, even if he only uses his own strength of the 3rd level of Qi Condensation realm, he will not really suffer any harm. Thank you Master. Leng Yanran's eyes lit up. She just wanted to test her current strength and whether she could cope with the Guishu realm master who was stronger than Tongxuan realm. But when the two stood still and looked at the master's cultivation after suppressing it, she was dumbfounded. Qi Condensation realm, 3rd heaven. Master, this disciple is now at the 2nd level of Tongxuan realm, and he is still practicing Hongmeng Kung Fu given by Master. Isn't this suppression too harsh? In the Qi Condensation realm, aren't they just entry-level monks who have just entered cultivation, passed the body tempering period, and begun to absorb spiritual energy? It doesn't matter, just try your best. The corners of Chen Daoxuan's mouth couldn't help but twitch slightly, feeling extremely helpless. He doesn't want to suppress him to the 3rd level of Qi Condensation realm. But the problem is, more than 300 years of cultivation have only pushed his realm to the 3rd level of Qi Condensation realm. What can he do? Okay, then the disciple will take action, Master, be careful. Chapter 010 Master is too scary, Yanran comes down the mountain. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After hearing the master's words, Yanran could only sigh secretly. It seemed that she was still too weak in the eyes of the master to practice with him at the third level of Qi Condensation realm. There is a big difference between them: Qi Condensation realm, Qi Si realm, Air Control realm, and Tongxuan realm. Her true combat power now is probably comparable to the Return to Ruins realm. Doesn't it mean that Master has to cross 4 or 5 major realms to spar with her? But when she thought of Master's shocking immortal methods, she was not worried that she could hurt him. No, she had no chance. It's just a pity that I can't test whether I can compare with the strong ones in the Ruins realm. Do it. Chen Daoxian called out in a deep voice, feeling a little nervous in his heart. After all, there was such a huge gap. The system said that his strength was much stronger than his realm, but he didn't know how many more realms he had. Don't fall behind all of a sudden and lose face in front of your disciples. Following Chen Daoxuan's order, Yanran did not dare to relax at all, and used the strongest attack method. Devil's Finger, with a squeak, his body swayed with the movements, almost blinding Chen Daoxian. Yanran directly used the magical power she had learned in the first chapter of Heavenly Demon Art, Heavenly Demon Finger. As soon as she pointed out, it was like a demon descending, and a grey demon's shadow appeared faintly behind her. In line with her movements, she pointed towards Chen Daoxian. Devil's Finger. When Chen Daoxian saw this, he also chose to use the Devil's Finger to deal with it, but after he used it, he was completely different from Yanran. I saw figures slowly emerging one after another behind Chen Daoxian, and finally 10 demons with red eyes and thick evil aura appeared. They all followed Chen Daoxuan's movements and pointed towards Yanran. Before the two attacks touched each other, the shadow behind Yanran could no longer withstand the pressure and disappeared. Yanran felt as if she was being restrained, and cold sweat appeared on her forehead, as if the 10 demons were really standing in front of her. With this blow, the 10 demons were attacking her. Fortunately, at the last moment when their fingertips were about to touch, Chen Daoxian instantly withdrew all the power of the demonic finger. He just lightly touched Yanran's fingertips, and their index fingers connected without making any terrible sound. Call. Master's heavenly demon fingers are so terrifying. It's like facing the 10 demons directly. The pressure alone makes the disciple's Taoist heart almost collapse. Disciple is ashamed. Just now I thought I could compete with Master. Yanran took 2 deep breaths, then regained her composure, and immediately said to her master in shame. Unexpectedly, the master only used the 3rd level of Qi Condensation realm to render her unable to resist, and it was difficult for her to even think of resisting. It's too scary. If Master didn't suppress his realm, wouldn't he be able to poke a big hole in the sky with one finger? TSK. Chen Daoxian smacked his lips lightly, and couldn't help but be surprised that his 3rd level of Qi Condensation realm could be so tyrannical. If not for the timely dissipation of his strength just now, he might have killed Yanran with just one finger, but in this way, he was a little unsure about what level of monks he could compete with. Master, disciple, can you take back your hand? While Chen Daoxian was thinking in his mind, Yanran asked shyly with a blushing face. After the two of them touched each other, they still kept their index fingers touching. If Chen Daoxian didn't stop his hand, she naturally didn't dare to move. Ahem, of course. Although your strength is enough to defend yourself, you will inevitably encounter danger. Just wait. Chen Daoxian coughed slightly in embarrassment, and then with a thought, he took out a fine jade pendant, then he stored the demonic finger in which he struck with all his strength. Although the attacks within the Tiandao Palace will gradually decrease after leaving the range, the Devil's Finger is his own strength and will not be affected by leaving the range. This jade pendant contains a strike with the same strength as the finger just now. Wearing it on your body can save your life at critical moments. After hearing this, Yanran, who took the jade pendant, was immediately overjoyed. Originally, she felt that her own strength was enough to overwhelm the other 2 major families in Moro. Now that Master has this jade pendant as his trump card, even those in the Return to Ruins realm, no, even those in the annihilation realm will definitely have no choice but to drink in hatred. Only she, who had just faced Tongxuan's finger, knew how terrifying power it was. Disciple, thank you master. As soon as the disciples finish taking care of their family affairs, they will rush back to serve the master. After hearing this, Tongxuan waved his hand slightly and returned to the main hall. Yanran bowed deeply in the direction of the main hall, then turned around and headed down the Shuwu mountain, walking the same escape route when she was being chased. Yanran felt a little sad. She didn't expect that in less than 2 days, she would undergo such earth-shaking changes. I even saw so many heaven-defying methods that only immortals can achieve. And all this is because she has an immortal master. After handling the Ling family's affairs this time, I have paid off the Ling family's feelings. I will return to the mountain and serve the master wholeheartedly. Thinking of this, Yanran's speed increased a bit. Ling family, the capital of Moro country. Master Ling, listen to my advice, close the formation, and I will let you live. Wang Meng, do you think I am a 3-year-old child? Whatever, nonsense is useless, Master Li, you and I will work together to break this formation as soon as possible. According to what was agreed, my Li family only wants 40% of the benefits, but Yanran, that girl, must belong to me. Of course. Wang Meng smiled when he heard what Master Li said, but he couldn't help thinking in his heart that Master Li might not have the chance to enjoy that girl. Even though they are hundreds of years old, they still have evil thoughts because of Yanran, but Wang Meng had to admit that Yanran was indeed very attractive, not only in appearance, but most importantly, her talent was of the saint level. If it could be used as a furnace, maybe it would be able to break through the bottleneck and step into the Guishu realm. Now that the head of the Li family is old and his life is coming to an end, he is eager to use Yanran as a cauldron to break through, but he will not let them succeed, so he sent out assassins, not to capture her alive, but to kill Yanran directly. As they talked, the two had already bombarded the Ling family's protective formation several times. After a while, some cracks appeared in the Ling family's formation. Boom! With the last blow, it could not withstand the attacks of the 2 Tongxuan realm 9th heaven strongmen and collapsed. Boys, do it.